On August 28th, at Tamarkin Camera in Chicago, Kiran Karnani has organized a photography exhibition that goes way farther than photography, right? It's about how photography helps you heal in your day-to-day, and how photography influences your emotions and your life. I'm incredibly proud of being part of the roster of photographers that I'm going to be surrounding my photography with. Each of us has selected one image that it's been a turn point in healing. And I was lucky enough to be able to chat with some of my friends that are in the exhibition about these topics. I came up with 3 questions to ask each person. I'm going to start answering myself, and then I'll add the answers of some of the people involved in this exhibition. If you can swing by, if you're a Chicago local and you want to swing by Tamarkin on August 28th at 5 to 8 p.m., some of us will be there celebrating photography. Here's the lineup for the event. I don't know if I should even do this because I'm going to butcher half of those names, but here we go. Gajen Balan, Katerina Bensova, Dr. Ahmad Bain, Dr. Jean Bade, Mathieu Bitton, Shayla Pre-Bright, RJ Clark, Mark Da Paula, myself, Greg Hatton, John Hendrick, Terry LaRue, Mark Mann, Tyson Martin, Cherise May, Dr. Daniel Potts, James Rice, Ann Rosen, Brandon Ruffin, Kylie Say, Juan Carlos Torres, Eva Woolridge, and Torrance York. Again, very, very proud of being part of this incredible roster of super talented and celebrated photographers. But like I said, I got on the phone with a few of them, and the questions that I had ready were, how does photography help your mental health in your day-to-day? Why did you pick this image for the Fotophase exhibition? I wanted to see which image why did they pick the image that represented this moment for them? And if you had a message to send to people that might need photography in their life, what would it be? How does photography help my mental health in my day-to-day personally? I think that I tend to always reminiscing a little bit of the past, and or look forward to things. I don't live in the present often without realizing or doing it on purpose. But when I shoot photography, is the only moment during my life that I'm just in the present. And now that feeling helps me connect with everybody around me in a more present way. When my kids are doing something, I literally just pick up a camera just so I'm able to enjoy that moment in particular, and not thinking about something in the past, thinking about something that is going to happen in the future. It kind of stops the time for me when I'm shooting, because my goal is freezing a moment. It forces me to stay in the moment and enjoy that present moment with whoever is around me. So I use it more of as a tool of connection with the people that are around me. In my case, my family, friends, and sometimes just the scenes in the street and things that call my attention.
I mean, I personally just need to see the world, really. Like, I need to see what's out there. I need to see what people are thinking about. I need to see how we're taking all of this in. It helps me to understand possibility and also limitations. You know, it kind of, it's a visual medium, and I think that, you know, we are visual creatures. We learn that way. And I definitely seek out that knowledge, you know. So for me, it's, if I couldn't explore more visually and I was trapped to what is right in my vicinity, I would probably lose it, you know. Like, so I know that there's more out there than what's right in front of me, and photography always showed that to me.
I think that photography, starting with the size of a grapefruit, which is what I submitted to the award in 2019, was the perfect example of my growth and development of using photography as a tool in order to process difficult emotions or experiences that I've had. The size of a grapefruit that I submitted was called Shock, and that was a piece about waiting in the hospital waiting room for about 45 minutes when I had an emergency ovarian cyst, and having to wait 45 minutes behind a woman with a sprained ankle despite the urgency of my condition. The look of shock from the doctors and residents when they found out the size of the cyst, and my personal shock understanding that that was like the sixth cyst that they had to deal with that week, and it was like only a Tuesday. So photography, making that series, helped me process these different emotional stages that I experienced during that ovarian cyst surgery, the before, during, and after. And it had helped me move through difficult feelings of isolation, depression, self-worth, violation, and knowing, like, not violation as if someone necessarily violated me, but the feeling of not having power as something is happening to you, and trying to remember to have agency for yourself within the hospital setting while you're in and out of consciousness. So all of that to be said, that photography is that tool for me to share my story and to help other people process their own story. I often start my photo series with journaling to help dissect these different emotions and to figure out how I want to convey those emotions in a visual way.
Photography to me has become a necessity. I can't go a day without shooting. I can't leave the house without a camera or two. It's just oxygen for me. And I find that in a year as difficult as this one has been, I'm able to transcend grief and pain while I have the camera in my hand or in front of my eyes. And I also find that photographing in nature, talk about oxygen, I'm breathing better, I'm less stressed, I'm feeling like everything's gonna be okay. And I just have a sense of peace when I'm walking around nature with the camera. So that is really for me an important thing. And photography is literal magic. You know, you think of the dark room, you know, things appearing out of nowhere. And I feel like photography holds our memories forever. After we're all gone, we'll still have these memories for the people that come after us. So I feel like that's a great, great gift. And it helps me to look at images, you know, of people that might no longer be with us, people that are with us. I just love seeing people in still photographs.
For me, photography helps me with my mental health daily. It really allows me to slow down, to be connected with the world around me, and to pay attention to how I'm intersecting with the world around me, the people in it, the things that are in it, the way in which I'm moving is really important to me. And photography allows me to have a very deep engagement with that process.
Not to the next question. Why did I pick this image for my representation in the Fotophase exhibition? I picked the image that you guys are seeing on the screen right now because this is a moment when I officially makes my kid part of my photography journey, not just in a subject way, but more in an active way. He has gone before that to shoot with me a few times, but in this moment, he has collaborated for the first time creating this project. This shot is part of a campaign for Harlow, which I thought it was a great circle moment when Kieran asked me to pick one of my pictures for this exhibition, picking something the sea had briefed me with, and this was result of that brief. I thought it was a nice circle because I didn't think about it at the time, but then when I looked at the images and the footage that I captured, this definitely reflects the first collaboration or in a creative project with my kid. And I thought it's a great moment to have in footage and also in images.
I was honored to be a part of this. Karen is a dear friend of mine, and she called me up and wanted to know if I wanted to participate and showcase some of my work, but also share a bit of my insight. And, you know, this image is one that I always go back to when I think about what I've gone through to become the photographer that I am. Not even photographer, just the person that I am. Because it was a long road to get involved with photography on a level that I respected, even for myself. And I always wanted to get a Leica camera because I saw them as kind of the, the standard. And that's arbitrary. It doesn't really matter what camera you use, but for me, that was my goal. And I got the camera. It was an M6, and upon getting an M6 or a rangefinder film camera, you really realize that you have to go through the trial and error of making it work for you. Coming from digital, coming from image stabilization, coming from Lightroom and Photoshop, where you can clean up anything. Like, you really have to put in the work to make a rangefinder do what it can do. So there was a lot of money spent and a lot of time just really kicking myself after I bought that camera. And I decided to keep practicing, and I did, and I started to get confident. And I remember, like, before I took that picture, I had a conversation with myself, and it's like, look, if this is what you want, if this is who you are, you have to be able to perform. You have to be able to think through these situations before they happen. You have to be able to kind of make yourself ready for when the opportunity to make a nice picture comes. So I observed what was happening on this wall, these kids jumping off into the water. If you know M cameras, they're not sports cameras, so I had to kind of really set it up beforehand to get the image that I wanted, or the image that I envisioned. And I thought that this kid was going to jump off and I should be able to try to capture it. I thought about the shutter speed. I thought about the aperture. I thought about the sensitivity of the film. I thought about the framing, but it was really going to be kind of hit and miss because I just ran up and captured it as he jumped. And it wasn't until that negative came back from the process, and I was like, wow, everything worked. Everything worked. The focus was right. The depth of field was right. I was on a 50 millimeter lens. The shutter speed froze him where I needed it, or it froze him. So there wasn't any motion blur. The focus was set to the right space. Like, all of those things worked out, and I was very proud of it. And it kind of proved to me that I can do these things. I can, there's always evidence. We've made it a long way. Like, we're walking, we're talking, we have jobs, we have girlfriends, we have boyfriends, we have wives, we have husbands, we have cars, we have whatever you want to call it. Like, we've achieved. But in this moment, this was something that really, it was like a reminder of the things that really fuel me, or fuel us. I think if we go after it, we can achieve it. And that picture is that. And it was like, it was really kind of, it goes hand in hand with the quote that's on the back of it. I didn't know if I could be any of these things that I said I could be. I never thought that I could see, or I never fully understood that I could see the things that I wanted to see. And, I was afraid of a lot of stuff. And maybe there's still some fear, but when you let that go, the realization of what you're doing becomes apparent. The realization of the life that you're living is right in front of you. And then you see yourself perform, and it's a way of proving to yourself that it's all good. You can do these things. And that's exciting.
Being that Kieran was the person to reach out to me, and being that Size of a Grapefruit was one of my first series I developed that centered around mental health and moving through difficult experiences, I thought it was the most appropriate to submit Shock, which I shared what it was about. And, having to move through it in my day-to-day, I think photography is a tool to really convey that we're all experiencing many different emotions and mental health spaces every day, and how can we build connection with each other through photography. So whether I'm doing street photography or working on my portrait series, Embrace Your Essence, with other subjects, I like to use photography as a tool to help people reconnect with themselves, and in turn help viewers connect with their own emotions and the person that's photographed.
The photograph that I've included in this exhibition is a very tough one, very painful one. It's called Death Reborn, and I photographed it the day after we laid my little brother Thomas Victor Bitton to rest in Paris after he took his own life, and most chaotic, most crushing week of my life. And the only thing I could do after the service was to be with family and friends, take pictures of my family and friends at the service. I even took pictures at the ceremony. I can't help it. And the next day, I was just in so much pain, the realization that I've lost one of my brothers. It's crazy to think about. 32 years old, makes no sense. I was walking around Paris and retracing steps that I might have taken with him, whether it was voluntarily or involuntarily. I was doing it, and I found myself Place du Palais Royal, across from the Louvre, and saw the guys with the giant bubbles and the kids jumping up at the bubbles, and I really teared up remembering my brother when he was little, standing on one of these little pillars, jumping off, popping bubbles, and just acting crazy and funny. And so that was the most meaningful image to me, and I'm happy that I can share it with everybody.
Now, I picked this photo for this exhibition because there's something very liberating about it. The way she's moving through the frame feels just very centered in herself. It feels very free from the actual act of being perceived, and just very much connected to who she is. I felt that this photo really represented an emotional state for me that connected with the overall goal of the exhibition.
And the last question, if you had a message to send to people that might need photography in their life, what would it be? As you guys heard from other photographers and myself, we all have different reasons why photography adds to our life in a very, very meaningful way. So whether it's to calm people down, like to myself, and keep you in the present, or to connect with other people, or just as a personal therapy of enjoying the surroundings where you are. I know a lot of photographers is when they pick up a camera, they start seeing things around the world that they didn't see without the camera. And that's a general feeling with photographers. As you talk to more of them, you realize that one thing that does happen generally as a common denominator to all of us, once you pick up the camera, your brain starts being alert and more conscious of where you are and your surroundings. And I'm definitely the victim of that for sure, because if you've ever walked around on the street with me, I'm not paying attention to absolutely anything unless I have a camera with me, and then everything is very clear and everything goes in focus. If I had anything to say to people, pick up a camera. It doesn't really matter which one. I obviously have my weapon of choice, or if I had to give an advice for people, it would be just pick up a camera. It doesn't matter which one. It doesn't matter the output of it. Just the fact that you are looking at your surroundings, enjoying what's around you. I think whether it's people or even inanimated objects, the outdoors, anything that is surrounding you, I think that it has a therapeutic effect in most people that are trying to shoot, even if it's just the technical part of it. You wanting to improve in that technical part. Although you're focusing on the technical part, your eye is getting used to images that please your brain, so it creates a soothing effect in most people.
I think that photography is important for everybody. I think that going back to that first thing that I was talking about, like, we're a visual creature. We need to see the world. We need to see what's out there. And photography as a practice, I think it helps us to discover more of what's around us, discover more about ourselves. When we zoom out and look at all the work that we've created through the years, you learn more about yourself in a way that you probably didn't know that you could. I know people will definitely learn more about you by what you don't say. And in photography, it's like they learn about you by what you've done, what you've seen, where you've been, and why you continue to shoot. I think that it's an unspoken language, but it's also the sharing of a life story that we're all really trying to figure out. And I think that I've been known to say that cameras were designed for one thing only, and that's to show us to ourselves. And I think that that's true. You know, every form of photography is documentary photography. Every form of photography is documentary photography to me. You know, like we're seeing so many different versions of what it means to be alive. And that's priceless because it can help you through different things. It can show you places that you never expected to go and find yourself in those places. You know, it might push you to go to those places so that you find yourself there and experience a different version of life that fits better to who you are. I mean, I love it. I love it, and I think that's one of the reasons why so many people are drawn to photography is that it just opens up the door to what's possible in life. You might not think about that when you're looking at a picture. It might just be some cool shoes or you know, a nice sunset or like, you know, a crazy macro shot of an insect, but it's all opening your eyes to what is out there, you know, and what can be. Or what has been. I mean, hopefully it continues to work to correct some wrongs and also introduce possibilities for what can be beautiful.
I love this question because I think that photography is accessible and available more so today than it ever has been before, whether we use smartphones, digital cameras, mirrorless cameras, DSLRs, or point and shoot. There's so many options to participate in photography. And I think that your truth matters the most. And so photography is a more immediate gratifying tool in the art world where you can relay poetically how you want to move through a difficult experience, and it helps visually put into the real physical world what feelings you're moving through, whether it's in mental health or physical health or relationships health. Photography is an accessible way to quickly move through and see in real time what you are experiencing in your mind. I find it so important for everyone to have access to photography, and that we all have a truth to mine and uncover and explore and be curious about. So if you have any interest in photography, photograph from your truth, from your experience, build your perspective using this tool, because the world wants to hear it and see it.
So what I would say to someone as to why they need photography in their life, I can't tell you what you need, but I'm pretty sure that learning a craft or honing in a craft like photography is so therapeutic. And I see the marvel, especially with kids, when I can let them hold my camera and they take a picture, seeing the picture and how beautiful it looks, you know, on one of these cameras, especially these Leica cameras. And I love when kids ask me, why is it in black and white, you know, and I explain it to them, the beauty of black and white, the timelessness. I think photography can be very important because it'll, A, give you something to do, go out every day and shoot, find subjects, photograph your friends and family, go photograph a concert, even if it's a street concert, whatever it is. Subjects are everywhere. You know, it can literally be the snake that I photographed yesterday in this backyard here in Ohio. And what'll happen is you'll suddenly realize that you might be an artist, and that might change your life. You can be dealing with depression, thinking you have no purpose, and it might just be one of the photos you take. And you'll look at it and say, oh my God, I took that photo. And yes, you took that photo, and you'll take many more. And it gives you purpose and reason to just keep going on and keep doing it. So that's my 2 words. Thank you for having me be a part of this. And, I'm really sorry that I can't be there with you guys, but I'm there in spirit.
A message for people who need photography in their life, I would say, just understand that photography gives you that opportunity to truly slow down. It gives you an opportunity to examine yourself internally. It gives you the opportunity to examine the world around you externally. I think this is a really important process. So much about today can be this monotonous movement from place to place to place. Photography gives you a reason to stand in one spot, to really center around one thing, and observe. The act of observation is a powerful thing. And I think that observing the world around us tells us a lot about our internal state. Like, what is our mind really wrapping itself around? For me, it's critical. And I honestly think this is a really beautiful thing for anyone who's looking to incorporate photography in their life daily, to center around this idea, the act of observation.
And as always, thank you so much, Kieran, for having us in this exhibition. It's always a pleasure working with Kieran and Fotophase or anything that she's involved in. Thanks again, Tamarkin, for hosting us. And Tamarkin Camera is part of the history of Chicago and Leica. And we are very, very excited to share this time with you guys there. Thank you, guys.